Welcome to this explainer. Let's dive straight into the black box of artificial intelligence and actually map out how the whole thing works. We hear a ton of buzzwords flying around constantly, right? Well, our goal today is to strip away all that heavy jargon and build a rock-solid understanding of what is literally happening behind the screen.
Whenever people throw around terms like machine learning or neural networks, it can honestly feel pretty overwhelming. So we're going to use one continuous, cross-cutting question to guide our entire journey. What is the absolute simplest end-to-end mental model? I want you to picture a blank whiteboard in your mind. We're going to sketch out a single, unified story that connects the absolute basics all the way to a fully functioning AI.
To answer that question, let's sketch it out as a continuous, 5-step pipeline. Data flows into training, which reveals patterns, which builds a model, which finally gives us predictions. We're not going to look at these as isolated concepts. Instead, we'll follow a single piece of information from the left side of our whiteboard all the way over to the right.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning with data. Why? Because an AI model doesn't have human experiences. It doesn't have emotions or memories. It's essentially just a blank notebook that relies completely on the examples we feed it. Whether it's text from books, pixels from images, or audio clips, this raw info is the absolute foundation. I mean, without data, that blank notebook just stays blank forever.
But here's the catch. We can't just throw random information at it. Let's say we want to teach a computer to tell a cat from a dog. We can't just dump a messy folder of photos onto a hard drive and call it a day. We have to meticulously collect massive amounts of examples, cleanse them to get rid of the blurry or duplicate stuff, label them accurately, and then reduce the data so the machine knows exactly what it's even looking at. This prep phase is absolutely crucial because the machine takes this data very, very literally. And that brings us to step 2 on the whiteboard, training. I absolutely love this metaphor from our sources. Think of it like this. If your neatly labeled cat and dog photos are the raw ingredients, the algorithm is the chef actively cooking them. The algorithm is basically a set of mathematical rules that takes that raw data and starts figuring out what on earth to do with it. Now, our chef can actually cook in a few different ways, but the two most common are supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning is a lot like using flashcards. We explicitly provide the labeled cat and dog photos, and the algorithm checks its answers against our labels. Unsupervised learning? Well, that's a bit wilder. We just hand the chef a bunch of unlabeled ingredients, and the algorithm has to discover natural clusters and hidden groupings entirely on its own with zero answer key. Regardless of which method we use, training is definitely not a one-and-done kind of event. During this phase, the algorithm is constantly guessing, checking its errors, and tweaking its internal settings. Think of it like nudging the dial on an old AM/FM radio. At first, all you hear is static. But the algorithm keeps making these tiny little adjustments over and over again until the static clears and the radio station comes through perfectly. So as that radio station comes into focus, we move into the third phase of our pipeline, patterns. And this brings up a really fascinating question. How does a mathematical algorithm actually see the physical differences between these animals? I mean, it doesn't have eyes, it has no conceptual idea of what a cat actually is. To get how this works, imagine breaking those images down into measurable characteristics that we call features. The algorithm creates a mathematical matrix, correlating specific traits to the final label. So, say image 1 has a pointy ear shape and a long tail, and the label says cat. Image 2 has floppy ears and a short tail, label says dog. The algorithm is literally just looking at these columns of data and learning how the variables relate to the final answer. By processing these features millions and millions of times, the machine becomes this expert pattern matching engine. It starts identifying incredibly complex statistical correlations that dictate exactly what makes a cat a cat. It discovers natural structures, and, just as importantly, it learns to spot outliers and anomalies. Like, if an image suddenly has a beak instead of a snout, it realizes, hey, hold on, that breaks the pattern. Once those patterns are firmly locked in, we arrive at step 4. The model. Now, people mix up algorithm and model all the time, but they are fundamentally different things. The model is the actual mathematical file or program that results from all that algorithm training. It's the artifact. It contains everything the system just learned. The crucial point here is how that knowledge is actually stored. The model's knowledge lives in what we call weights and biases.
These are the internal parameters, those mathematical dials we tuned earlier. For instance, after looking at millions of photos, the model might give a massive amount of weight to the feature ear shape, but almost zero bias or weight to fur color when deciding if a picture is a cat. The model is basically just a giant collection of these perfectly tuned dials.
To bring our earlier metaphor full circle, if the algorithm was the chef working tirelessly in the kitchen to make sense of the ingredients, the model is the final plated dish sitting on the table. It is fully ready to be served.
Which perfectly sets up the fifth and final stage of our continuous story, predictions. We have our finished model, sure, but we have to ask, how do we know if the dish actually tastes good? We have to put our newly minted machine learning model to the test before we ever unleash it into the real world. To do this fairly, we use a really clever trick called the data split. We never ever test the model on the exact same photos we used to train it. Think about it. If we did, the model might just be memorizing the answers instead of actually learning the underlying patterns. Instead, we hold back a completely separate test set of unseen cat and dog photos. This ensures we're testing the model's true ability to generalize what it knows to brand new situations.
When we run that test set, we get our evaluation. Let's say 85% accurate predictions and a 15% error rate. Behind the scenes, we use this mathematical formula called the loss function to measure exactly how wrong the model's predictions are. This tells us just how badly the model messed up on that 15%, giving data scientists a chance to evaluate its real accuracy before a user ever touches it. Let's move to the final deployment. When that error rate gets low enough and we're finally happy with the results, we deploy the model into a software application. This phase is known as AI inference. This is the moment of truth, guys. This is when the model can instantly look at that brand new smartphone photo you just uploaded and predict in literal milliseconds whether it's looking at a cat or a dog. But you know, the story doesn't actually end the second you upload a photo. What's so fascinating is that even in this final prediction stage, the system is still paying attention. If the model makes a mistake out in the real world and you correct it, saying, no, that's actually a dog, it uses that feedback to continuously learn. It updates its algorithms, tweaking those internal dials just a little bit more, making sure it gets even smarter over time. But as we step back and look at this incredible, continuous pipeline, we really need to pause and ask a highly critical question about the very foundation of this whole process. What happens if our original ingredients, our training data from step 1, were flawed, inaccurate, or incomplete? It all comes right back to the golden rule of data science. Garbage in, garbage out. If our initial training data is poorly structured, or if it's completely missing edge cases, our seemingly perfect mathematical model is just going to scale and automate those human blind spots. The algorithm has no idea it's missing the full picture. It only knows the math of the data we gave it. So if we only showed it white cats during training, it might completely fail to recognize a black cat in the real world simply because the initial matrix was incomplete. It might end up confusing a chihuahua with a dachshund. So whenever you interact with an AI system from here on out, just remember this simple, continuous whiteboard sketch we built together. The predictions you get on your screen are only as good as the model that made them. That model relies entirely on the patterns found during training, and all of that, the whole shebang, is fundamentally 100% dependent on the data we chose to provide in the very beginning. So I'll leave you with this. If AI is literally only as good as the data we give it, what exactly are we writing in that notebook? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.